Interesting psychological facts about human behavior. When you start taking care of yourself, you start feeling better, looking better, and even start attracting better because self-care sends a powerful signal to your subconscious that you are worthy of love, attention, and respect. And this self-respect translates into how others perceive you, boosting both emotional resilience and magnetism. Friendship that started in the period between 16 and 28 years of age is more likely to be robust and long-lasting because during these formative years, individuals go through significant life changes, including identity development, career choices, and emotional bonding, which forges deeper connections that can withstand life's evolving pressures. It is said if you dance before leaving the house in the morning, you are likely to walk out in the real world with an optimistic perspective. And this happens because dancing activates endorphins and dopamine, the brain's natural feel-good chemicals, which instantly elevate your mood, reduce stress, and improve cognitive focus throughout the day. First 3 seconds you wake up, you will not remember anything because the transition from unconscious REM sleep to full consciousness temporarily disrupts memory recall, but grounding yourself with intentional breathing or affirmations can anchor your awareness faster and make you feel more present in the moment. You can die from fear because the body releases a big amount of adrenaline, which can be toxic in high amounts, as this acute surge can lead to cardiac arrest, respiratory failure, or sudden vasoconstriction, especially in people with pre-existing heart conditions or unrecognized vascular weaknesses. A study shows that living in a place with high water visibility is significantly linked to lower levels of psychological distress because natural environments, especially blue spaces like oceans, lakes, and rivers, have been shown to regulate mood, lower cortisol levels, and improve mental clarity and creativity through visual serenity and rhythmic soundscapes. Waking up in the middle of the night for no apparent reason may indicate that someone is dreaming about you, according to metaphysical psychology and emotional resonance theories. And though scientifically unconfirmed, the timing of such awakenings often coincides with peak REM cycles, where emotional frequencies may subtly influence your subconscious mind. When someone misses you 80% of the time, they are likely to appear in your dream because dreams act as emotional regulators and often reflect the deepest unsaid feelings between two people, forming a bridge of unconscious connection and unspoken longing. People tend to prefer the music of artists whose public personalities are similar to their own because of a psychological phenomenon called implicit egotism, where individuals gravitate towards those who reflect their inner traits, values, or self-image, and music becomes an extension of identity. In such cases, sleeping directly after studying, you will remember what you have learned better because of a process called memory consolidation, where the hippocampus actively transfers short-term memory into long-term storage during deep non-REM sleep, particularly when there's no external sensory interference. Sleeping on your left side has the most health benefits as it aids digestion, boosts brain health, and reduces snoring, and it also promotes lymphatic drainage, improves circulation to the heart, and reduces symptoms of acid reflux, especially when done consistently over time. Whenever a person seems to be hiding something while talking to you, don't ask them repeatedly. Instead, just make a prolonged eye contact, which will make them uncomfortable and guilty to lie to you, and you will know the truth because the human brain finds it harder to lie under the pressure of sustained direct eye contact, which taps into mirror neurons that trigger self-awareness. Studies say that individuals who could instinctively use sarcasm to tackle a frivolous question have a healthy mind, because sarcasm requires quick, abstract thinking, emotional control, and high verbal intelligence, and those who master it are better at creative problem solving and social navigation. In a group setting, people tend to look at the person they feel the closest to because eye contact and facial orientation subconsciously reveal emotional alliances, attraction, or admiration, and this behavior often gives away hidden preferences and unspoken hierarchies within the group. When the group laughs, people would rather change the truth than change their views. about people, which means the need to preserve social harmony often outweighs the need for factual correctness because collective emotional resonance becomes more important than logic in those fleeting group moments. Waking up just 1 hour earlier could reduce a person's risk of major depression by 23% because early risers tend to receive more morning sunlight, which helps regulate circadian rhythm, increases serotonin production, and improves overall mood stability across the day. Parents who view failure as a negative event tend to have kids who are more likely to believe in intelligence as fixed and cannot be increased, and this mindset leads to fear of challenge, low academic risk taking, and underdeveloped problem-solving skills in the long term unless reframed through growth-oriented parenting. Lonely people are likely to take long hot baths to replace their lack of social circle and emotions because the physical warmth of water can simulate the emotional warmth of human contact, and this substitution temporarily soothes the nervous system, releasing oxytocin and lowering stress markers like cortisol when you are ignored by someone you strongly care about. The reaction and your brain is similar to physical pain because emotional rejection activates the same neural pathways as physical injury, particularly in the anterior cingulate cortex, making the pain feel vividly real and intensely draining. Children who grow up in a stressful environment with strict parents are more likely to develop the habit of overthinking as adults do, to chronic activation of the amygdala and reduced emotional validation during their developmental years, which shapes how they regulate fear and self-worth. In adulthood, people tend to value emotional intelligence over intelligence in a potential partner because EQ influences empathy, communication, conflict resolution, and emotional safety, which are the foundations of long-term intimacy and psychological connection in romantic relationships. A human head is known to be conscious for about 20 seconds after being beheaded due to residual oxygen in the brain and continued neuronal firing, and though horrifying, this discovery has been supported by rare historical accounts and modern neurophysiological analysis of oxygen deprivation timelines. Individuals who exercise at least 1 to 2 times per week are less likely to suffer depression or anxiety because physical activity releases endorphins, boosts neurotransmitter function, and helps regulate stress responses while improving self-esteem and sleep quality. People who often help others are likely to be happier often and less likely to get depressed as well when they get older because altruistic behavior activates reward centers in the brain, increases feelings of purpose, and contributes to social bonding, which protects against loneliness-related decline. People are more honest when physically tired. This is why most people confess things during late night conversations, because cognitive resistance weakens and self-monitoring diminishes as serotonin levels drop and the frontal cortex relaxes, leading to uncensored honesty and raw emotional sharing. Those who worry and overthink tend to have higher verbal intelligence, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills because the mental habit of examining possibilities strengthens neural pathways related to analysis and verbal fluency, though it must be balanced to avoid decision fatigue and emotional burnout. People are naturally happier when they are kept busy because meaningful activity prevents idle ruminations, reduces anxiety, and increases dopamine levels, which are directly tied to productivity and goal-oriented behavior, especially when tasks align with intrinsic interests. Firstborn children often described as bossy or responsible, while lastborn children are sometimes described as irresponsible and impulsive. Because birth order psychology suggests that eldest children are shaped by higher expectations and leadership roles, whereas youngest children receive more leniency and freedom to explore. The reason we feel confident to sing in the shower is partly that the reverberation of the shower boosts the voice, adds more bass, and sounds more powerful, thus boosting the singer's confidence to sing. And additionally, the privacy and warm water reduce social anxiety, making expression feel safer and more liberating. Girls who mature early are likely to be delinquent and emotionally aggressive as they get older because early puberty often leads to exposure to adult situations before emotional readiness, causing confusion, peer pressure, and strained parent-child dynamics which shape future behavior and coping mechanisms when talking to a girl. Use her name frequently, which will make her like you more because hearing one's own name activates the brain's reward centers, particularly the medial prefrontal cortex, creating a sense of personal importance, trust, and deeper connection. Women are great problem solvers. When they are low, they just need to speak it out to someone who can listen seriously and be there for them, because the act of verbalizing emotions helps organize thoughts, reduce mental chaos, and triggers healing through validation and shared presence. Women like to think more about what they love the entire day, and this emotional depth allows them to mentally rehearse care, romance, or creativity in a loop, which often shapes their mood, motivations, and perception of the world around them in a more emotionally invested manner. Hugging a woman for 20 seconds improves her self-confidence and happiness, because extended physical contact stimulates oxytocin release, which lowers stress, enhances bonding, and strengthens feelings of security and self-worth, especially when the hug is warm, genuine, and uninterrupted. Women remember men with a deep voice rather than a high-pitched voice, because deeper voices are biologically associated with higher testosterone levels and perceived as more dominant, protective, and emotionally grounding, which ties into ancient mating psychology. People who masturbate daily have a higher chance of fatigue, weakness. Early ejaculation may also inhibit sexual activities with your partner. Entry to the penis vision changes, lower back pain, testicular pain, and hair loss, and these outcomes stem from excessive dopamine depletion, overstimulation of neural pathways, hormonal imbalance, and reduced physical stamina, which affects both mental alertness and long-term vitality.